Alright, welcome back to Tikio Takes, and in this video, we're going to break down UFC White House, aka UFC Freedom 250. Now, I was going to, make a video, immediately reacting to it, but, it was Sunday, I forgot I have school. It was 2 in the morning, I'm like, oh, I have to wake up in 4 hours. So I had to get some rest, so, but we're here now, a little later than I intended, but, man, so much went down. First off, I'm never making a prayer video ever again. We're just gonna... That's just not gonna happen. No more prayer videos because I make them when I know the guy I'm picking is gonna lose, aka Alex Pereira. I made a prayer video hoping that he KOs Ciryl Gane. The opposite happened, so don't worry guys, no more prayer videos. Actually, here's what'll happen. Is that when Tom Aspinall fights Ciryl Gane, I'll make a prayer video for Ciryl Gane to KO Tom Aspinall, and then the opposite should happen. So that's actually what I'll do. I'll keep making them, I'll make them for some reverse psychology. But anyways, before we break down obviously what happened in the main event, Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria, let's just talk about the whole event as a whole. What a massive success for the UFC. This was better than I could ever imagine. This was the best night of fights I've ever watched, and nothing will ever top it. This is the best it's gonna get, and I will remember this for so long. I was so hyped for this card, and it fully delivered. First off, we got finished in all 7 fights. All the fights were very exciting. Nickal one was meh, it was fine. Jason Herzog was the MVP and made that a fun fight. Yeah, all fights ended in finish. And just the aura of this event. I know people say aura a lot now, but this event true had aura. Seeing Alex Pereira do his little bow and arrow from the White House, like a little perch, was like, oh my goodness. Seeing Justin Gaethje reading the Declaration of Independence before walking out to upset Ilia Topuria, oh my goodness. And then seeing Diego Lopes stand on top of the octagon where you can see the White House in the background, the backdrop was amazing. The lighting was fantastic. And let's talk about the band. I feel like no one's going to talk about the band. The live band was fantastic and really made it just a tad different, but it elevated the whole event as a whole. So shout out to the military members for their musical talents. They were excellent. And then it was basically one guy doing Ilia Topuria. He was singing and playing the guitar, and it was basically him doing the whole Ilia Topuria Lopes song. So yeah, and then it was really cool seeing Ilia Topuria like smile and just go like wow when he was walking out, because we're all with you, man. We're all in the same boat. Seeing Dana just can't keep his smile to himself whenever he was walking out with Trump. It was a spectacle event. The atmosphere was amazing. Yeah, I mean, the whole time I'm like, oh my goodness, like we're at the White House. And then the fights were just incredible. The matchmaking was decent. Besides like Ruffy, Chandler, Daukaus, Nickal was a good fight. Steve Garcia versus Diego Lopes, I thought it was gonna be fight of the night, because I thought it would go longer than the main event, but that was not the case. Diego Lopes, we'll get into it, had a great performance. Lewis, Hokit, bad matchmaking, like Ruffy, Chandler, just we didn't need that. I mean, obviously the main event and co-main event were great. Zahabi, O'Malley made sense. Like maybe you do O'Malley versus Umar, but they wanted to do Martinez versus Umar, which I get, because maybe they want to build up an O'Malley Umar fight for like a belt eventually. So and Zahabi was on a 7-fight win streak. So I definitely understand why they made that fight. But overall, it was a fantastic card. Let's now get into the actual fights. Let's start off with the main event, obviously. Justin Gaethje, I am a real American, took out Ilia Topuria. Oh my goodness. The end of the first round, I couldn't tell you like how just like I stood up. I was like, oh my gosh, they're going at it. This was one of the most violent fights I've ever watched. Ilia Topuria started out the fight with absolutely no respect for Justin Gaethje. That was ultimately his downfall. That wasn't how Topuria fights in the first round. Topuria is usually... He's not going forward in the first round normally. He's like taking center, but he's not going forward. He immediately tried to back up Justin Gaethje, and he wanted to tank through all of his shots and then land his big combos. And for whatever reason, the shots that KO'd Oliveira, the shots that KO'd Volkanovski, the shots that KO'd Holloway, the shots that obliterated Jai Herbert, the shots that sent Josh Emmett flying, didn't do anything to Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje ate all of his shots. It was only the shots to the body that Gaethje was like visibly hurt. I mean, we're talking about the guy who got dropped by Tony Ferguson and Charles Oliveira, so it's not like Gaethje was known for an... Oh, wait, we all know Gaethje's super tough, but he didn't have an iron chin. So it was shocking to see him eat the shots at Ilia Topuria. I also think it's just Gaethje was bigger than Topuria. Like, Topuria is a featherweight that wants to fight at 55. He says he can't make weight, and I'm not going to... I obviously don't know his full situation, but he's a featherweight that just decided, hey, I'm skilled enough to go to 55. But he is small for 155. He looked tiny against Oliveira, and he looked tiny against Gaethje. So ultimately, I think the size disadvantage just didn't help Topuria, and that's why Justin was able to absorb a lot of his shots. And man, Topuria hit him with some harsh shots. And like Justin said in the post-fight interview, he's like, they need to study my face, his genetics, because look at him. There's not a mark on this guy. So it just an unbelievable fight it was for. But yeah, let's explain how. Yeah, so back to the first round. Yeah, Topuria, no respect, was just walking into jabs and right hands from Justin Gaethje. In the first round, off like a clinch break, Gaethje opened up a cut on his eye with a sneaky little uppercut, and the uppercuts, the jabs, and the right hands is what did it. Especially he started mixing the uppercuts as well when he tried to tie Ilia up. And so yeah, Gaethje won the first round, and but Topuria didn't look horrible. He landed some decent shots, and they scrapped at the end, violent into the first round. Then second round comes around. Topuria is it's like even throughout the first half of the second round, and then Topuria makes a great adjustment. He starts going to the body and it just absolutely destroys the liver of Justin Gaethje. Backs him up with like 2 minutes left in the round, and then he's going up top, and then he's just cranking that left to the body. And then he had a really nice combo where he went he went like right with the body, then he kind of tapped Justin's face with right, and then came back with the left to the body, which actually dropped Justin Gaethje, and I thought the fight was over. Because Ilia Topuria did exactly what he did against Charles Oliveira. He got into a side control, he got into mount easily, and here's where Topuria lost the fight. Instead of going for ground and pound, where he would have finished Gaethje, because that homie was not going to get up because he just suffered a huge liver shot. Instead of going for ground and pound and ultimately probably winning the fight, sadly for Topuria, he went for submissions. He went for he tried to do what Khabib did to him. He tried to go with a triangle where he's going to roll to his back and get the triangle, and then he tried to switch it to an arm bar, and it's like, what are you doing? You just need a couple more ground and pound shots and it's over, you know? It's like he was trying to prove a point with his grappling, I guess, to get the Makhachev fight. Maybe that's why he did that, but a couple more ground and pound shots, he would have finished Justin Gaethje, and he still would have his belt. And instead, Gaethje survives because Topuria went for submissions. It gets to the third round, and Justin Gaethje lands a vicious 1-2, one of the biggest right hands he's ever landed in his entire career. Drops Topuria into like a kind of a shooting a panic takedown situation, and Justin just sprawls out and does what he always does. He sprawls guys out, holds a headlock, does nothing with it because he's also exhausted. So it gives him a bit of rest, but he's also wearing on the guy. He's kind of like doing what Tyson Fury did to Deontay Wilder in their fights, and not just hang on you. And yeah, so Justin Gaethje won the third round. Fourth round comes around, Topuria's looking good, gets a takedown on him, something he didn't do. He should have mixed in the grappling more. I know he's been knocking out fools, I don't blame him, but he had the clear grappling advantage in this fight. Whenever he wanted to take him down, I mean, he did. I mean, he didn't take him down in the second round, he got it because of a knockdown, but when it was on the ground, night and day, he was able to take him, Gaethje down, but Gaethje scrambled out of it. Gaethje has gotten a lot better at scrambling, even while he's gotten older. He's developing skills. It's very impressive. Justin Gaethje scrambled out of the takedown because they're both, super wet, bloody. It's humid out because they're outside, or they're sweaty as hell, and scrambles out of a takedown from Ilia Topuria, and then just keeps at it, jabbing up. At this point, Ilia's both of his eyes are literally shut, broken orbital. He's got a cut on his nose. I mean, Topuria looked like Tony Ferguson whenever he fought Gaethje. That's how bad the damage. It was worse than Tony. I mean, he was so swollen. It was just weird seeing Ilia that busted up. and Gaethje wins the 4th round. And you know, I'm thinking we're gonna head to the 5th round. Topuria needs to finish. You know, as long as he's in the fight, he can knock him out. Nope. At the end of the 4th round, Justin Gaethje defends a bad takedown from Ilia, and then goes off to the side and lands a knee from hell against Topuria's body while in the sprawl position, and that won him the fight, because that sucked the life out of Ilia Topuria. That broke a couple ribs, made it to where he probably couldn't breathe, and he wanted no mas. He told his brother no mas, and his corner stopped the fight. They threw in the towel. Justin Gaethje is your new lightweight champion. What timeline are we in? Sean Strickland just beat Khamzat Chimaev. Petr Yan beat Merab Dvalishvili. Justin Gaethje just beat Ilia Topuria. What's next? Is Conor gonna beat Max Holloway? Is that what this is all leading to? Is Conor gonna take out Max Holloway? Because I'm feeling it now. Yeah, we are in the year of the upsets. It's been very cool to witness. This is a bittersweet like card, because obviously we'll get into Pereira. I love Alex Pereira. I don't like Ciryl Gane. I like him even less because of the illegal shots he landed on Pereira. Talented fighter. We'll get into that, but so that already, you know, broke my heart. I mean, I love Mauricio Ruffy. I didn't like seeing him beat up Chandler, who should never have been in there against him. I didn't like Derrick Lewis getting beat up by Josh Hokit, who he should have never been in there with. Steve Garcia, Diego Lopes was a banger, so that was great. It was good seeing Bo Nickal keep improving and win his fight. But yeah, and then we got to this, and it's like, I love both guys. I love Gaethje. I really like Ilia Topuria. He's got one of the sickest fighting styles ever. So it's kind of, as an American, I love that we now have well, at least for now, I think Gaethje's going to retire. It's cool having 2 American champions now. And O'Malley won the card. We'll talk about him as well. O'Malley had a sick performance. So as an American, fantastic, result of this. But I also really like Ilia Topuria. And for whatever reason, like, part of me was also like, damn, like, the hardcore MMA fan of me was like, the space-time continuum, the linear flow of, like, the fights that need to happen totally got disrupted. Because I would have loved to see Ilia versus Makhachev. That's just not going to happen now. I would have loved to see Ilia versus Ciryl. Probably not going to happen. The only positive of this is that I think Gaethje's going to retire, as he should. What a high to end up on. Dude, the freaking do a backflip, get a big upset at the White House, beautiful boy Trump. No better ending than that. But I think he's going to vacate the belt, and then we get Ciryl versus Oliveira 2 for the belt. How amazing does that sound? I love the idea of that. So that's the one positive out of it, because I think they were going to make that fight anyways. But this time it's going to be for the belt. The 2 best guys in the lightweight division. Even though Gaethje's a champ, Oliveira already beat him, and Ciryl would definitely beat Gaethje. I don't know now. Maybe he stuffs the takedowns of Ciryl and beats him up for 5 rounds. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I can't be counting guys out anymore. I think that's the biggest lesson from this card, is that you can't count someone out of a fight. There is always a path to victory. I made a video about, obviously I picked Topuria by round 2 KO, but the title of the video where I made my official prediction for just the main event was literally Justin Gaethje might kill Ilia Topuria. Because I didn't want to disrespect Gaethje. I knew that there was ways he would win this fight with the leg kicks, with the head kicks. I didn't expect it with the 1-2s. I really didn't expect him to literally outbox Ilia Topuria. That sounds blasphemy, but it happened. So I knew there's a reason I made a prayer video for. I guess we'll talk about that now. Shout out to Justin Gaethje. Let's get into Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane. I obviously made a prayer video, hoping Pereira would win, because I was terrified of Ciryl Gane. Because I knew there was a big chance that he could win this fight. This was a 50-50 fight. I went with Pereira by round 1 KO because I thought he'd fight the same way he did against Ankalaev. Because that was a guy that did not want to go to decision, did not want to do the pitter-pat game. He didn't want to kickbox. He wanted them all. That's the guy that fought Ankalaev, and that's not the guy we got here. This was a guy that was in a new weight class and felt early heavyweight power and was cautious. And that's not the Pereira I predicted to win. this was the Pereira fought Ankalaev in the first fight, you know, and if I knew that, you know, it was me that version, I would have went with Gane, because I was pretty torn. But because of his amazing performance against Ankalaev, where that was a guy where he's not going to kickbox with him, he's just going to destroy him. I thought that's what he was going to do to Ciryl Gane, because you don't want to do the pitter-patter game. That's exactly what Pereira did. I was very disappointed with his game plan. I thought he should have came forward and risked being knocked out. And he ended up getting knocked out anyways, trying to do the pitter-patter game and out-kickbox him. He should have went out there, the maul, Ciryl Gane, and I thought he would have had a great chance to do that. Because it's like the one time he landed at the end of the round 1, he landed a big right hand and got a reaction out of Gane. So, it's just disappointing. But shout out to Pereira for trying to get a third belt. No one's even ever attempted it, and it's likely no one will ever do it. The only other hope is Khamzat Chimaev, if he was able to fight for the belt, if he was able to fight Usman after his Burns fight, or I guess it was Leon Edwards who had the belt at that point. No, it was Usman had the belt at 274 because he lost it at 270, I believe. So even if we had Khamzat versus Leon Edwards, and then he goes on to beat Duplessis, and then maybe he fights Alex Pereira at 205. Khamzat was the only other guy to maybe become a triple champ. He's obviously not going to become that guy. So, yeah, Pereira was the one shot at this, so very interesting. And we got to get the visual in here. Come on, how can I forget? But, yeah, Pereira tried to out-kickbox Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane just, he beat up his leg. Let me tell you, Ciryl Gane had some amazing leg kicks in this fight. Beat up the lead leg of Alex Pereira and got him with the jabs. He was able to land a jab at will, because I even mentioned this in my prediction video, or my prayer video. This is what Pereira does, and what's wide open here? One twos. It's just his guard is wide open. I should have went with Gane, but like I said, I thought it would be the Ankalaev 2 Pereira. But yeah, the 1-2s were there all day for Gane, and then Pereira finally decides to commit, and Gane hits him with a step-in jab as Pereira's coming in to throw a shot. Drops him. I thought he was out right there. I thought it was about to be a one-punch jab KO for Ciryl Gane. How crazy would that have been? And then goes for some follow-up shots, lands some clean ones, and then he starts elbowing to the back of the head. I'm like, oh my gosh. There's always a controversy with Ciryl Gane in these fights. I'm tired of it. He's a cheat. We all need to accept it. We knew it before, but Ciryl Gane is a dirty fighter. Why does he always go for back of the head shots? Elbowed JDS to the back of the head. Landed a vicious hammer fist to the back of the head against Tuivasa. Now this eye pokes a couple of his opponents, and then obviously finished, you know, Tom Aspinall with an eye poke, you know. So this guy's a dirty fighter, and it's a shame because he is talented. He's the most talented heavyweight of all time. Because we still need to see him fight Tom Aspinall for Tom to take that moniker. Tom's one of the most powerful and quick heavyweights, but Gane is the most talented heavyweight because he's not the most powerful guy. He just got an insane amount of skill. I was a big fan of this guy when he was on his come up, when he beat Derrick Lewis, when he beat Jairzinho Rozenstruik, when he beat Alexander Volkov back in the COVID days. And then I was really rooting for him to beat Ngannou because I didn't like the way Ngannou was going about leaving the UFC. And he obviously loses that, and I was really rooting for him against John Jones, and then looks horrible in that. And then he robs Volkov, and then he tries to be the victim against Aspinall in their fight. And it's like, no, you're a cheat. You've been a cheat. So yeah, I really like Ciryl Gane. That's why this sucks. But he's a cheat, and it's really a shame because he is the most talented heavyweight we've ever seen in this division, and a great win for him. But man, it'd be a completely different story if all of his follow-up shots were clean, because it is a mystery how Pereira recovered from that. And obviously he got finished on the feet a couple of seconds afterward, but he was able to get back to his feet after taking elbows to the back of the head, probably at least 5 elbows to the back of the head. You know, so it's a shame. I feel bad for Pereira. I feel bad for Gane. Not really. He deserves the criticism he's getting right now, but there should be no conversation about Gane being a cheat when you beat Pereira. That is such a big win, and to have that completely overshadowed, it's a shame. But yeah, great win for Gane, and I'm probably gonna pick him to be Aspinall. At this point, with Gaethje beating Topuria, anything can happen. I think Gane's going to beat Aspinall. I know in my prayer video I was talking about how, like, you know, Aspinall was winning most of the kickboxing exchanges with Gane. No. Gane's going to beat him. That's what I'm taking from this fight. And then next, let's talk about Sean O'Malley versus Aiemann Zahabi. And what a performance for Sean O'Malley. So, I love Aiemann Zahabi. He is such a goofy goober. How is Frost Zahabi your head trainer and you fight like that? But yeah, for us, he comes out with this little goofy Philly shell, and he said, I'm just going to Jared Vanderaa, Waldo Cortez this guy. Shout out if you remember that fight. But he only threw leg kicks. He threw maybe, what, 5 punches this entire fight, if that. He threw all leg kicks, trying to perennial nerve Marlon Vera fluke his way to beating Sean O'Malley. And it didn't work. Sean ate all of his leg kicks. There was no, like, oh, Sean really felt that one. They're all, like, slapping leg kicks. And Sean, he started early by trying to fire the right hand. He wasn't landing, so he's like, okay, I'm going to go to the body like I did against Marab, which was really smart. It was getting Aiemann to think about whenever O'Malley throws the right hand. Is he going to go up top? Maybe he's just going to go to the body. And then, so that was a really good setup from O'Malley there. He started going to the body with the right hand, which eventually set up the KO later on. But, yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I was kind of... Sean didn't kick a lot in this fight, which I think he needs to work on, because he hasn't been kicking a lot recently in his fights. He needs to. It's some of his best weapons. It helps him gauge distance. It's hard in MMA to gauge distance just with jabs. You have to use your other two limbs, your legs. So he needs to start kicking more in his fights. It's what set up the KO against Aljo. So Sean, if you're watching this, I know you're not, but in case you are, start throwing more kicks. It's gonna help you out a lot. It would have helped out more against Zahabi, especially the teep to the body. But yeah, Zahabi just spamming leg kicks. We get to the second round, and Sean lands a huge straight left, which drops Zahabi badly. Shades of, you know, the Marlon Vera knockdown with, that was a jab, but this was like just a straight left while O'Malley was in southpaw. And as Aimann's getting up, O'Malley lands a vicious right hand that puts him out. And then he does a salute. He does a walk-off salute. We got a walk-off O'Malley finish. It's been a long time since we got that. The last time we tried was against Thomas Almeida. Didn't go well. One of the funniest finishes ever. Because he walks off, and then he immediately turns, walks back, and then goes, boom. One of the biggest ground and pound shots you'll see. Vicious shot he landed, but he redeemed himself from that. He actually got a walk-off finish here. Saluted to the crowd. Really cool stuff here. And good for Sean O'Malley. I know a lot of people don't like him for whatever reason, because he's not them, like people expect him like to talk trash, or he doesn't have the best of mic skills, but he's just a normal guy that decided to, you know, get all these tattoos and color his hair just to help him get more attention, and it worked for him. But he seems like a really good guy. You can judge him for like his, you know, what he does with his like, you know, relationship stuff, open relationship and all that. But dude genuinely seems like a decent human being. Seems like a good dad and overall a good person. And as an American, I like Sean O'Malley, and one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. Every time he fights, you can expect fireworks. I know his fight against Song Yudong wasn't, and he admitted that because he knew Song was so powerful and dangerous, and he was coming off a finish loss against Marab. Perfectly understandable that performance wasn't great. As soon as the first round started, I'm like, okay, he's trying to knock out Aiemann Zahabi, and I respect it. He said he was going to finish him at the White House, and he did. So shout out to Sean O'Malley with a great performance. And then let's talk about these two goofy goobers, Derrick Lewis versus Josh Hokit. Why? I know Trump, you know, his favorite fighter is Derrick Lewis, but if only he watched the Waldo fight. If only he knew what happened in January. Derrick Lewis is just old. He's not very skilled. He relies on landing one big punch. He has no grappling. Josh Hokit was way faster in this fight, and he did what he was supposed to. Okay, if Josh would have lost this fight, I would have been more surprised than... Him losing is more surprising than Strickland beating Chimaev, you know? Like, this was, like, the lock of the card. Maybe besides O'Malley versus Zahabi. But this truly... Actually... Ruffy versus Chandler was a lock of the card. We all knew how that one was going, but because Derrick Lewis always has a one-shot ability. Chandler isn't much of a... He doesn't have a lot of power. Like, he has some pop in the shots, but he really... When was the last time we seen, besides the front kick against Tony, what, Dan Hooker? 6 years ago? Like, come on now. But, yeah, Josh Hokit was just way faster in this fight. He 1-2'd Derrick Lewis to death. Took him down a few times and was really conservative with his grappling. Landed some decent ground and pound. Went for the funniest armbar of all time. He doesn't know how to finish an armbar, which is hilarious. Instead of tucking it in into his body, he just... It was hilarious. I think he was kind of playing around. I don't really think he was trying to finish the armbar. I think he was just trying to, make a mockery of Derrick Lewis or some. I don't know. Made people talk about it, which is what I appreciate about Josh Hokit. Even though his gimmick is interesting, the poems are cringy. He tries to promote himself and get fighters riled up to create some controversy, and I'm all here for it because most of these fighters are boring and lifeless, and I love Josh Hokit tries. I love that. So I will always be a Josh Hokit fan, and he's a super exciting fighter. He just needs to take a year off to work on his skills because he does not have good cardio. That's maybe what he needs to work on. He needs to take a year off, work on his cardio if he wants to go against guys like Volkov, if he wants to go against guys like Gane, Aspinall, Pavlovich. I think they're going to do Pavlovich versus Hokit next, but I really need Hokit to work on his cardio before he takes fight. This was only his 10th ever MMA fight, so he's still super young in the game. So I want to see him definitely work on his cardio before he fights Pavlovich. And definitely work on his defense, because he definitely relies on his speed. But against Pavlovich, who has some decent speed for heavyweight, I just don't think... I don't know if Hokit could beat Pavlovich. It'd have to be like a grappling heavy game plan to beat Pavlovich. That'd be a really cool fight. But I'm kind of afraid he'd get pieced up in that fight, but... Anyone has a chance. Anyone has a chance, guys. And then let's also talk about Mauricio Ruffy versus Michael Chandler. What a sad fight. Why did they do this fight? Really? Really? Like, I know they want to build up, Mauricio Ruffy, make a big star of him, have a huge performance at, the White House card, which a ton of people were going to tune in live to watch. But, come on, man. Why not give Michael Chandler, I don't know, Alexander Hernandez? Why not give Michael Chandler Grant Dawson? Not on this card. I don't want to see Grant Dawson on the White House card. But come on, man. Like, to give him this guy was crazy. Also, a fight up the rankings for Chandler too. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, Mauricio Ruffy did what we all expected. He was super elusive, waiting for Chandler to come in, countered him every time he tried to. Landed a couple wheel kicks, which rocked Chandler in this fight. Landed some nice shots to the body, but he is so quick and powerful, and Chandler couldn't take his power. It's as simple as that. The finishing sequence was awesome. I think Ruffy went to a left hook to the body and then stepped back and then shot a wheel kick, which rocked Chandler, brought him to his knees, and then he landed some shovel uppercuts to finish the fight. It was a sick finish, really. So shout out to Mauricio Ruffy. He's becoming one of my favorite fighters, and Conor Max really messed up the lightweight division. I think it should have been Paddy versus Ruffy on the July card. I mean, they should have done BSD versus Max Holloway, maybe on the same card as well, because those are two great fights for lightweight that need to happen. But instead, we have Max taking on Conor, and then Paddy versus BSD, which isn't a bad fight. I would have loved to see Paddy versus BSD, or Paddy versus Ruffy, to see if Ruffy's improved his grappling and if Paddy has improved his striking. It's a great fight, but we'll probably see it one day for sure. But shout out to Mauricio Ruffy and shout out to Chandler for trying. Then we got freaking Bo Nickal, man. Freaking gonna pick some berries. Bo Nickal did what he was supposed to. So he took down Daukaus early, held him for around like 2 minutes, and then Jason Herzog was like, even though you just landed a big elbow, you are kind of stinking it up, but even though you just landed a big elbow, we're gonna stand up. We're gonna stand it up. I was like, oh, that was like Trump's direct order right there. Who's this guy, Bo Nickal? Never heard of them. What a failure. Yeah, stands him up, and the Bo Nickal lands a nice left to a right hook combo, I believe it was. Drops Daukaus, and he was done after that. Bo landed a couple ground and pound shots, but Daukaus were already covered up, just done. And good. I actually picked Kyle Daukaus. Terrible pick in hindsight. But I truly thought Bo Nickal would come in do the exact same thing he did to finish him. But I thought Daukaus would do like he did in his last 4 wins, and that's land something short and rock Bo Nickal, get him in the Dars. I don't feel too bad about that pick. It kind of was a 50-50 fight. I knew there was a chance that Bo Nickal could just out-grapple Daukaus, hold him down. But I don't know. I believed in Daukaus to land something short, wrap up that Dars, and get a big upset. It didn't happen. I don't feel too bad about it. Bo Nickal's okay. He's a good fighter. He tries. You know, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to, he seems like a good guy, even though he thinks he can read minds. He seems like a good guy, you know, believes in God and all that, has a beautiful family, loves his parents and all that, loves his country. A lot of good things to say about Bo Nickal. So I definitely hope, who do I want to see him fight? I want to see him fight Shara Magomedov, but I know Shara is about to fight Michelle Pereira. He should win that fight. And then do this in like October, because they always do an Abu Dhabi card in October. Let's do Bo Nickal versus Shara Magomedov. Winner gets a ranked opponent for sure. I love to see that. And the last fight we had to talk about was the first fight in this card. And, oh man, I was feeling just butterflies. Okay, it's like kissing a girl you like. You start getting them butterflies inside. It was like watching it. I got those same feelings watching this fight. Because I was in awe of the aura of them walking out the White House. The lighting was perfect. And I knew, like going in, I thought this was going to be fight of the night. I love Steve Garcia. I love Diego Lopes. I knew what this fight was going to be, and it's somewhat delivered. Like, it was a good fight. But Steve Garcia won the first round. Diego's having a hard time dealing with the range because he's not used to fighting someone as long as him. Steve Garcia is actually longer than him. He has a couple inches of reach on him. Steve Garcia was doing, like I said, he was going to do really good with the lead hand. I actually picked Steve Garcia by decision. Was looking really good until he got finished, but Steve Garcia was really busy with the lead hand, landing a lot of good jabs. And what I really liked that he had in this fight was obliques to Diego's legs. Because Diego likes to plant every time he's about to throw. Plant before he shoots a takedown. So, Steve Garcia decided to shoot a couple oblique kicks to the knee of Diego to disrupt his rhythm. Really smart move right there. And, yeah, land a couple tagging shots on Diego. Won round 1. And then round 2 comes. And at some point, even though Steve Garcia was doing really good, Diego starts backing him up. And then they scrapped. They both agreed telekinetically just the scrap. And you can't do that, Diego. And even though Steve Garcia has really good power, he's longer. He can land something sneaky on Diego. He got caught. And Diego just clipped him with a big shot. And then landed lots of shovel uppercuts on this card. Landed a couple of shovel uppercuts that led to him going to his back. And then Diego landed some vicious ground and pound to finish the fight. And cap off UFC Freedom 250 with a huge KO win. Shout out Diego Lopes. 300, the Sphere, now the White House card. This dude's got an insane resume. The UFC can always rely on this guy because he always delivers, except when he's fighting Volk. So I hope... what do you do with Diego Lopes? Like, they really messed up doing him against Volk too, because they missed out on a huge opportunity to do him and a rematch against Movsar Evloev. That's one of my dream fights right now. That rematch. That would have been awesome. They should have done the Lerone Murphy versus Volkanovski after his big spinning elbow win. Do Evloev versus Diego. Boom, winner of that rematches Volk, or fights Volk. You know, it would have been perfect, but I don't get paid to be the matchmaker for some reason. They should, though. I got some fights cooked up in here for y'all. But, yeah, what do you do with him? Like, Gene Silva rematch? I'd love to see it. I would love to see that. That might actually be the fight next. Or Diego goes up to 155. I think that'd be interesting, too. Him versus Oliveira is also, like, a dream fight of mine. I'd love to see that eventually at some point before both of them retire. So, great win for Diego. Got a feel for Steve Garcia. But it was a big opportunity for him. He was only number 9, which is even high for him, to be quite honest. Like, he beat number 14, David Onama. And he got put to 9. I think he was number 13 or something like that. So, big opportunity for him. And he fought well. He just got caught like most people do against Diego Lopes. So, no shame in that. But that was UFC Freedom 250. Absolutely generational card. The best card of fights we're ever going to see ever. It's never going to be topped. There was just something different about this card. It was absolutely wonderful to watch. And shout out to UFC. Shout out to everyone part of the White House to help make this happen. Unbelievable job by everyone, and yeah, they delivered, y'all, and we got a great, and the fighters also delivered as well, and it made it truly the best MMA event of all time. So make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and appreciate you guys watching. And I make videos not just about like MMA, even though it's my favorite sport. I'm also literally dropping tomorrow NBA draft related video. It's going over all like the biggest prospects, and then I'll have like a top 5 most overrated, top 5 most underrated prospects in the draft. And then I'm actually gonna go live for the first round of the NBA draft if you want to tag along. Even if you don't watch NBA, if you want to ask me UFC questions, I'm always down for that live as well. And then in July, obviously, besides, I'm gonna make a week-long worth of videos for the McGregor card as well, McGregor's hallway. I'm gonna make videos about that. But the entire July is gonna be mainly me making videos about Spider-Man Brand New Day. I literally have a video like coming out every single day about it. So if you're also big in like Marvel movies, TV, I'm also big into that. So make sure to subscribe if you want to hear me just yap about anything. Would really appreciate it. And God bless you all.